Hello. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon, friends. So, first of all, I sincerely thanks to Dr. Nishikant and organizing committee for providing an opportunity to present my research on Botany for You platform. Friends, I will be talking on genetic and antigenic characterization of Indian mumps viruses. As you know, mumps is public health important disease. I will talk on history of mumps, its background virology, mumps in India, need of research in India, and studies undertaken on mumps in our laboratory at National Institute of Virology, Pune. The main focus of my talk is on genome sequencing and antigenic characterization of Indian mumps viruses. So before that, I would like to go about this historical part of this mumps disease. During 5th of century BC, a mild epidemic illness associated with a swelling near the ears and sometimes painful swelling of one or both testes was described by Hippocrates in the Book of Epidemics. The name mumps may be derived from an Old English word that means to grimness, grin, mumble, or to suck, or from the Scottish word meaning to speak indistinctly. During the late 18th century, a physician named Robert Hamilton first described a central nervous system infection due to mumps virus. In 1934, Johnson and Goodpasture demonstrated that mumps was due to a viral infection by inoculating rhesus monkeys with saliva from a patient with clinical mumps. In 1945-46, Hebel and Andersons they cultured mumps virus in cheek embryos. In 1967, Professor Maurice Hilleman successfully developed a live attenuated vaccine, and this vaccine has been licensed in the United States. The famous name for this vaccine strain is Geraldine vaccine strain. There are widely used live attenuated vaccine strains basically based on the Geraldine strain, RIT4385 strain, Leningrad 3 strains, Zagreb strain, and Urabi strains. There are some country-specific vaccine strains also available. Those are used in China or in Japan, and some in Iran. A few mumps reports are available on the mumps epidemiology, mumps incidence, and mumps seroprevalence in India. Mumps outbreaks have been reported from different states of India. Mumps vaccine is not included in the universal immunization program, and this vaccine is optional for the parents who can afford to their children. Indian Association of Pediatrics recommends two doses of mumps vaccine in the form of MMR vaccine before school entry. So this is schematic representation of mumps virus. It is very beautiful mumps virus. You can see very beautiful schematic representation as well as electron microscopic picture of the mumps Geraldine vaccine strain. Basically, mumps virus is negative sense RNA virus with genome length of 15,384 nucleotides and belongs to family Paramyxoviridae. And the only genus is Rubella virus genus. These virus particles are pleomorphic in nature, spherical anode particles with 100 to 600 nanometer in diameter. This is linear organization of mumps strains. You can see different genes N, PV gene, M gene, F gene, SH gene, HN gene, and L gene. So each and every gene is having special biological activity. Here we will try to understand a little bit about the biological activity of different mumps proteins. So N gene responsible for the it protects genomic RNA from the cellular proteases and determines helical structure of the capsid. Then P gene responsible for the parts of the transcriptase complex. NS1 responsible for production of interferon and interferon gamma signaling. NS2 function is not known. Matrix protein plays key role in the virion assembly, and it links the ribonucleocapsid to the host cell membrane. F protein is responsible for virus to cell and cell to cell fusion, and it helps in the replication to the host cell. SH is the gene responsible. It is also called as a membrane associated protein, but not essential for the virus growth. However, as per the WHO, we need to do mumps genotyping by using the SH gene. HN is the very important protein, and it plays a role in viral attachment and entry. HN also help in prevention of cell agglutination of the virion particles. L is the largest protein, and it forms parts of transcriptase complex. So this is mumps virus replication. You can see the schematic depiction of mumps virus replications. This is taken from Wills virology. Basically, virus attached to the host cells via the receptors, and it produces negative stranded, it produces positive stranded genome, and then it produces negative, and then via different secondary transcription and primary transcription, it produces different kind of proteins, all proteins, and with the help of endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus, it as the virion particle get assembled, and that virus particles come out of the host cell. This is very simple thing. So, and it applies to each and every paramyxovirus. Then mumps virus infection and immunity. Mumps is highly contagious disease. 1 to 2 days before and 7 days up to 7 days after the parotitis. It is characterized by fever, swelling of parotid glands, and orchitis. Serologically, mumps virus is monotypic virus and classified into 12 genotypes. That is A to N genotype except E and M. So you can see the clinical presentation here. The one patient with unilateral parotitis, swelling of parotid glands, and here we try to understand the mumps time course. So generally, mumps incubation period is 18 days, 14 to 18 days, and afterwards, that virus start mounting IgM, IgG, IgA kind of antibodies. And sometimes in complicated patients who get the clinical complications like meningitis or meningoencephalitis, virus can be recovered from CSF. All those antibodies after at the start of infection, maybe after 5 days, we can see the appearance of different kind of antibodies. The recovery of virus from the oral fluid and urine sample is possible. Then maybe for this detection, we need less than 5 days of onset, and we can detect virion particles in the throat swab, urine swabs, and oral fluids. Then patient develop parotitis immediately after infection, and also orchitis after incubation period. This is taken from Murphy et al. And Havid et al. In 2010 publication. So we need to know about the epidemiology of mumps virus. Humans are the only natural host for the mumps. Mumps virus spread by aerosols and clinical and subclinical cases. They occur nearly 30 to 40 of all cases, and they are subclinical. Highly contagious disease, 80 to 90% of infectivity, and virus can be isolated from saliva or oral or throat swab or urine specimen. Virus also found in blood, urine, human milk, and CSF. It is childhood disease, so nearly 92% of children get infection under 15 years of age. And this infection is rare before 1 year because there are maternal antibodies and they take care of mumps infection. Clinical and subclinical infection gives lifelong immunity because this virus is highly antigenic, and it gives a very good immune response, and those immune response long last for lifelong. So outbreaks reported in close community, crowded places, school, military setting, etc. Because virus transmission is human-to-human transmission is there. That's why in crowded setting we can get a lot of mumps infection. The main clinical manifestations are parotitis. In nearly 90% of cases, we can observe parotitis. Aseptic meningitis in approximately 15% of cases can be observed. Transient deafness can be observed in nearly 4% of the cases. Encephalitis do observed in just a few cases, like 0.1% of the cases. Other clinical features include orchitis. Nearly 20 to 38% of male cases, they get the clinical presentation of orchitis. Oophorytis nearly in 0.5 to 7% in female cases, we can observe oophorytis, infection to ovary. There we do observe respiratory symptoms. Nearly 40 to 50% of mumps infections, they leads to the respiratory symptoms. Annual incidence range from 100 to 1,000 cases per 100,000 population. Epidemic peaks reported every 2 to 5 years, specifically in the winter and spring. So mumps case definition and case finding is very, very important. When we investigate the case or sporadic case or outbreak case, we need to have defined case definition. A clinically suspected mumps case is defined as any person with a history of fever, painful swelling of one or both parotid glands without any other apparent cause, and linked epidemiologically to laboratory confirmed mumps case. This is nothing but the clinical case definition. Whereas a laboratory confirmed mumps case is defined as a clinically suspected mumps case with serological confirmation of mumps-specific IgM antibodies and or by mumps SS gene RT-PCR from the throat swab, oral swabs, or urine specimen. So this is the pathogenesis of viruses. Virus, as I told you, virus enter via respiratory tract through droplets and droplet nuclei. Virus grows in salivary glands and lymphoid tissues. Virus spreads to spleen and distant lymphoid tissues, and it required nearly 7 to 10 days. Viremia long lasts for nearly 15 days. Virus spreads throughout the body, testes, ovaries, pancreas, thyroid, salivary glands, and disease occurs, and it required nearly 18 days. That's why incubation period of mumps virus is 18 days. Due to high cell tropism, as I told you, mumps virus spread to different organs like nerves, brain, ovary, breast, pancreas, heart, thyroid gland, kidneys, and joints. You can see different organs are affected due to mumps virus, and it may leads to hearing loss, encephalitis, hydrocephalus, oophorytis, mastitis, pancreatitis, myocarditis, thyroiditis, nephritis, and polyarthritis. So for any investigation, we need to have mumps case investigation form. Investigation form should suffice the purpose that we should get detailed information about patient, address, date of birth, age, sex, clinical presentation, symptoms and signs. Then complication, if the patient have any kind of complications, then we need to record a history of mumps vaccination, 1 dose, 2 dose, or whatever it may be, or non-vaccinated. Then contact history should be there, maybe family contacts and neighborhood contacts. If patient is hospitalized, we need to have detailed information about hospitalization and treatment and discharge and everything. So for laboratory diagnosis, we need to have clinical samples. So blood, serum sample, dried blood spots, they are used for the serological testing. Throat, oral swabs, urine for the viral detection and virus isolation. Generally, we require samples within less than 5 days of onset, clinical onset, with fever with parotid swelling, and we can take sample and we can find the virus in those samples. So differential diagnosis is very important because mumps-like illness by other viruses may be occur. So basically, parainfluenza virus 1 and 3, they cause mumps-like illness. Influenza A virus, it also causes mumps-like illness. Coxsackie virus, lymphocytic choriomeningitis virus, Epstein-Barr virus, and even HIV, also they cause mumps-like illness. So that's why differential diagnosis is very important. Also, bacteria do cause the bacterial infection and they cause the mumps-like presentation. Staph aureus also cause mumps-like presentation, and atypical mycobacteria, they also do cause mumps-like presentation. That's why we need to bank on laboratory diagnosis by doing serology or molecular testing, and we need to do the differential diagnosis. So treatment and prevention, no specific therapy or symptomatic treatment is the only solution. Patient isolation is very important because we can avoid the contacts with others, and we can restrict the spread of the disease. Contact tracing is very important in outbreak situation. There are immunoglobulin preparations available for the prevention of this infection. However, effective live attenuated vaccine is there, and it can be given via the intramuscular route at 9 months and booster at 4 to 5 years. And so this vaccine can be given at the month of at 9 months and booster at 4 to 5 years. But this immunization schedule is vary according to country to country. This vaccine is contraindicated because it is live attenuated virus. It is contraindicated in pregnant women, patients receiving immunosuppressive therapy, and severe illnesses. So there are many vaccine strains available in the market. You can see Gerillin-derived vaccine, Gerillin strain, that is genotype A-based vaccine are there. Then Uravi genotype B-based vaccines are there. Genotype N-based vaccines are also there. Gerillin RIT4385, Rubini, these are the genotype A-based vaccine, whereas Leningrad 3, Leningrad Zagreb, these are the genotype N-based vaccines. Miyahara, Tori, and NKM46, these are the vaccine based on the genotype D. And we do have vaccine manufactured by Registered Serum and Vaccine Institute from Iran, and they prepare vaccine based on the basis of mumps genotype H strain. So all those vaccines, they are grown on cell substrate. Basically, they grow that virus on chick embryo fibroblast cells, and some vaccines are produced on the human diploid cell strains. So there are many manufacturers. You can see Merck, Glasgow, Sanofi, Pasteur, Beckman, and there are many vaccines. Whereas in India, only Serum Institute of India, they produce different kind of viral vaccines, and those vaccines can be supplied to different countries. So why there is need of doing research on mumps? Mumps has been considered as a disease of children, but over the past 2 decades, it has affected older children and adults in the countries where mumps immunization has been in routine use. Despite high vaccination coverage, re-emergence of mumps has been reported from developed countries. Mumps containing vaccine is not included in the national immunization schedule in India. This vaccine is optional for parents who can afford to their children. Indian Association of Pediatrics suggests inclusion of mumps antigen in the form of MMR, that is measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, as a first dose at 9 months and second dose at the age of 16 to 24 months. So in India, scanty data is available on the epidemiology of mumps, its incidence and antibody prevalence. Mumps continue to occur in epidemic proportion in India despite the availability of an effective vaccine. Mumps outbreaks have been reported from the states of Maharashtra and Punjab. And, they reported circulation of mumps genotype C and G in the states of Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, and Uttar Pradesh. Data on complete genome sequencing and its antigenic characterization is not available from India and on those circulating viruses. That's why there is need to do a lot on this aspect. So we undertaken various studies in our laboratory at National Institute of Virology, Pune. We did the complete genome sequencing of mumps viruses. Those were circulating in different parts of the country. We standardized mumps focused reduction neutralization assay for the characterization of neutralizing antibody response against different kind of challenge viruses. So we do observe the utility of this focus reduction neutralization test for the diagnosis of suspected mumps cases in India. We did the cross-functional neutralization studies between mumps wild type, genotype C and G strains versus the vaccine strain that is widely used genotype N strain in India, and using the panel of samples, and we try to understand is there any difference in terms of neutralizing antibody response to these viruses and immunity mounted to these viruses. So we do studies on mapping of neutralizing epitopes in the hemagglutinin neuraminidase gene and fusion proteins, and majority of studies has been published, and I will come to what we did exactly. So basically for this genetic and characterization is characterization of full genomes, we collected isolates from outbreaks or sporadic cases, and those outbreaks are available with us. Those outbreak and sporadic case isolates are available with us. So basically all isolate, they do have parotitis presentation, either unilateral or bilateral parotitis. They do have orchitis, pancreatitis in some cases. They do have encephalitis in certain cases, and majority of cases they do have unilateral and bilateral parotitis along with the fever. So some samples we do have paired serum samples. That's why we did the IgM kind of ELISA also. We can see few samples they are IgM positives also. So we attempted virus isolation using throat swab, oral swab, CSF, and through different urine specimens. We did the PCR PCR on those isolates, and all samples are PCR positive by SHG PCR. So 10 isolates, they were characterized and fully characterized, and full genomes were carried out using Sanger's method. So viral RNA was extracted from a tissue culture fluid by commercial kit. Individual PCRs for each gene of each mumps virus isolates were performed. 46 mumps virus primers from Gene et al. Published in 2000, and 15 additional primers were synthesized and used for the amplification. Mumps whole genome was amplified using a set of 61 primers. Overlapping of 444 and 886 base pairs were amplified using one-step RT-PCR with platinum tau. cDNA was prepared at 55 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes, followed by hot start, and PCRs in a GeneAmp PCR system was carried out. So this is the representative PCRs: HN gene PCR, F gene PCR, NP PCR, VP PCR, M gene PCR, SH gene PCR, and the biggest one, L gene PCR. So altogether 32 PCR products were amplified and sequenced to determine full genome of a single mumps virus isolate. Then PCR products were purified by using a QAMP DNA mini kit and sequenced using same primers. Those primers were used for the PCR reaction. Sequencing reactions for each gene was performed separately using the dideoxy terminator sequencing kit. Forward and reverse reactions were purified using DiEX spin kit, and sequences were obtained using ABI DNA analyzer. Both DNA strands of overlapping PCR amplicons, forward and reverse, were sequenced, compiled, and a consensus sequence was deduced. Sequence alignment was performed using cluster W and MEGA. Detailed bioinformatic studies were carried out. So this is the phylogenetic tree of complete genomes of Indian mumps viruses. Colored strains are nothing but the Indian strains. We can see there are two types of genotypes are there, genotype G and genotype C. So then we calculated genetic diversity of Indian strains with different vaccine strains. For this purpose, we used the Gerylin vaccine strain, RI4385 strain, Leningrad 3 strain, El Zagreb strain, Urabi strain, Hoshino strain, and Miyahara and Aristol strain. So what we observed, we calculated percentage nucleotide divergence and percentage amino acid identity of each and every gene with respect to our Indian strains. These values are derived by calculating the arithmetic average of pairwise p distances between 10 Indian isolates and vaccine sequences. We can see here, when we compare Indian strains with the Gerylin strain, we can see 6.68% divergence throughout the genome, whereas we can see 97.20% nucleotide percent amino acid identity with the Gerylin strain. Same thing can be observed for RI4385 strain, nearly 6.68% diversity in genome, whereas 97.2% for amino acid identity. In Leningrad Zagreb 3 strain, 4% genome diversity, whereas 98.49% amino acid identity. El Zagreb strain, vaccine strain used in our antigenic study also, it is having nearly 4.10% genome diversity, whereas 98.47% amino acid identity. So we did the mapping of epitopes specifically in F and HN proteins, because F plays important role in binding and replication, and HN also is having antigenic epitopes and neutralizing epitopes. That's why we did the mapping of these epitopes. So genetic variability of Indian mumps genotype G with reference to WHO strain was carried out, and substitutions were noted. Pune 1986 strains, it shows 9 substitutions in F gene, 8 substitutions in HN gene. Pune 2012 isolate showed 9 substitutions in F gene and 7 substitutions in HN gene. Whereas Dadra Nagar Haveli 2 strains, they shows 8 substitutions in F gene and 2 substitutions in HN gene. So all those are genotype G strains, and those were compared with WHO strain. So here we did the comparison of mumps genotype C, Indian mumps genotype C with the WHO strains, and we find out the substitutions in F and HN proteins. So Pune 2008 genotype C strain, it is having 5 substitution in F gene, 16 substitutions in HN gene. Usmanabad 2 strains, they have 6 substitutions in F gene and 16 substitutions in HN gene. Chennai 2012 strains, it is having 5 substitutions for F and 14 substitutions for HN. Kushinagar 2013 strain, it is having 6 substitutions for F and 18 substitutions for the HN. Davangere strains from Karnataka, it is having 7 substitutions in the F and 19 substitutions in the HN gene. So we performed complete genome sequencing of mumps viruses, that is genotype C and genotype G, 6 genotype C strains and 4 genotype G strains, isolated from patient with typical mumps symptoms, that is unilateral and bilateral parotitis, pancreatitis, and encephalitis. Overall, Indian mumps wild-type genomes were genetically similar to the 8 vaccine strains with percent amino acid identity ranging from 97.2% to 98.5%. A similar observation has been noted within different genes. Indian genotype C strains had nearly 52 to 62 amino acid substitutions, whereas Indian genotype G strains had nearly 26 to 33 amino acid substitutions. So then we standardize ICA immunocalorimetric assay for detection of mumps viruses using throat swabs and different clinical specimens. For this purpose, we use the PCR positive throat swab samples, and we can see here mumps virus foci are visualized after 2 days of post-infection on vero cells. This is the ICA Virus plaques were stained on 2 days of post-infection, and virus plaques were observed on 5 days of post-infection. We can see difference in the plaque staining and immunocolorimetric staining. Here we can see the minute plaques, but in immunocolorimetric assay we can see very good blue stained viral foci. Those viral foci are nothing but the infected vero cells. This is before ICA. We can see immunocolorimetric assay. Before ICA, we can see cytopathic effect and cells. After ICA, we can see infected cells stained in blue color. So vero cells, this is normal vero cells, and you can see beauty of assay plaque. We can see very minor plaques, but in ICA we can see this distinct blue stained viral foci. So what is difference between plaque and ICA methods? Plaque assay is basically after 5 to 6 days of incubation, cells were fixed and stained with crystal violet, and crystal violet stain attached to the cells, vero cells, and clear viral plaques. Those are those where the cells are disintegrated, clear plaques. Those can be seen by the naked eyes. These are the disintegrated cells, not live cells. But in immunocolorimetric staining, after 2 days, cells were fixed, and they were stained using the primary antibody and secondary antibodies, and blue stained viral foci with the substrate can be observed by the naked eyes. So basically it required 2 days. Here this plaque assay, it required 5 to 6 days, and in plaque assay cells are stained with the crystal violet, but in immunocolorimetric assay, cells along with infected virus particles, they are stained with the immunocolorimetric assay. So we, based on the immunocolorimetric assay, we are having the focus reduction neutralization test. We developed this assay, and basically this assay was developed to characterize antigenic characterization of different viruses, genotype C, G, and vaccine strains. And you can see the representative plates of mumps FRNT. And this FRNT has been performed on 3 serum samples tested in triplicates. We can see the different dilutions. We can see different dilutions ranging from 1 in 4 to 1 in 512. You can see the different. This is the representative plate. We can see different dilutions were plotted, and we can see the 3 different serum samples. They were plotted. We can see the virus control, and based on the virus control, if there is 50% reduction in that control, we can calculate that neutralizing antibody titers by using the Carbus formula, and we can deduce the neutralizing antibody titer of those serum samples. But if something is there in cell control, cell control is having some viral foci, then this assay is invalid, and again we need to do that samples and testing. So basically we standardize focus reduction neutralization assay for the wild type strains as well as vaccine strains. So we did the comparison of IgG commercial ELISA versus FRNT on 94 samples. And we observed that nearly 95.7% samples, they do have concordance in the results, and it shows that both of these assay work very well compared with the total IgG and neutralizing antibody NT-assay also. So you can see FRNT is positivity is 51.1%, whereas IgG percent positivity is 46.8%, but concordance is 95.7% with respect to positive and negative. Application of ICA was successfully documented on the throat swabs collected from a suspected mumps patients. FRNT results were correlated well with the commercial ELISA that detect mumps virus-specific total IgG antibodies. FRNT is having a number of advantages over the plaque reduction neutralization test. Assay time, it required 2 days, ICA required 2 days, whereas plaque assay required 5 to 10 days. Assay can be seen by naked eyes, even plaque and foci can be seen by naked eyes. Assay needs small volume of serum samples, cells, media, and incubator space. This assay is easy for dispensing because we are using multi-channel pipettes. 96 well plates can be very much adaptable to the multi-channel plates, and serum dilution, neutralization reaction, cell suspension can be transferred from one plate to another using the multi-channel pipette. Simultaneous testing of these 3 samples in triplicate is possible, and it will increase the assay throughput and data reproducibility. This is economical plate format because PRNT required 6 well plate format or 24 well plate format, whereas FRNT required 96 well plate format. So we did the antigenic characterization of Indian mumps viruses. Mumps virus is considered to be serologically monotypic virus, and therefore antibody induced by one strain, that is genotype 1, should be protect against the reinfection with the other genotypes. Furthermore, immunization with a vaccine containing one strain of mumps virus is thought to protect against all mumps viruses. For antigenic characterization of Indian mumps viruses, cross-neutralization studies were performed using a wild type virus, genotype C and G, and vaccine strain, that is genotype N strain. A panel of sera consisting of acute serum samples collected from the suspected mumps cases and convalescent samples collected from 13 cases, so 13 acute and 14 convalescent samples, and some 18 archive serum samples. Those haven't had any kind of clinical mumps. Then that samples were taken for the antigenic characterization. And we compare the neutralizing antibody titers with the mumps genotype C strains versus mumps LZ vaccine strain, and we can see very good correlation with R-square value of 0.92. However, there are 21 serum samples out of 46 that show more than two-fold difference in the FRNT titers. Means there is some quantitative difference in terms of titers between C and LZ strain. However, the qualitative difference is not there, and this difference is just two-fold difference. So we compared mumps LZ vaccine strain FRNT titers with the mumps genotype G virus, and we observed that 18 serum samples showed more than two-fold difference in the FRNT titers, with correlation R-square value of 0.96. So very good correlation with respect to genotype G titers and LZ titers. So then we compare mumps genotype G titers with mumps genotype C titers, and we can find see here that very good correlation, 0.94% coefficient of correlation. Two samples shows more than two-fold difference in FRNT titers. Only two samples shows difference in FRNT titers, two-fold difference, and quantitative correlation is and qualitative correlation is very good with respect to C and G FRNTs. So we calculated mean neutralizing antibody titers to mumps genotype C strain, that is 1.80 mean neutralizing antibody titers to genotype C strain, and for mumps genotype G strain, that is 1.83 mean neutralizing antibody titer. For mumps LZ strain, the mean neutralizing antibody titer for all those samples were 2.11. And when we compare those mumps LZ vaccine strain with G and mumps LZ vaccine strain with genotype C FRNT titers, and we do find out significant difference by using the pair T test. Means those difference in titers are very much significant with respect to vaccine strain and wild type strains in those panel of samples. So all serum samples effectively neutralize mumps wild type and vaccine strains. Significantly lower FRNT titers were noted to the wild types than the vaccine strain. Comparison between mumps IgG ELISA and FRNT results revealed 95.7% agreement. No amino acid changes were seen in the important epitopes in the Indian wild type strains, that is genotype C and G. All N-linked glycosylation sites were intact in Indian mumps viruses. So we also performed an experiment to understand the utility of FRNT for the laboratory diagnosis. Limited studies are available on the laboratory diagnosis of mumps in the unimmunized population. Hence, a study was designed to determine the correlation of 3 serological assays, and its utility for the laboratory diagnosis was carried out. These serological assays were based on the different principles, and it measures mumps-specific IgM kind of antibody, IgG antibody, and neutralizing antibodies. So for this purpose, we use the panel of serum samples. Total 80 samples were used, and we found out the different IgM and IgG antibody results. So here we can see IgM antibody positivity, 77.5% samples shows IgM antibody positivity, whereas 85% of samples shows IgG positivity. When we compared IgM with FRNT, IgM positivity is 77.5%, whereas FRNT positive is 92.5% positivity, very high positivity compared to IgM. And when we see the difference agreement between IgG and IgM ELISA, 82.5% sample shows the agreement, whereas agreement between IgM and FRNT, 72.5% sample shows agreement. When we see the total IgG kind of antibodies with respect to the neutralizing antibodies for the mumps, and we observed 85% agreement between all those samples. So here we can see the positivity is very high, 92.5% samples shows FRNT positivity, whereas 85% samples shows total IgG antibody positivity. So basically correlation between all the 3 serological assays were carried out. So we plotted these samples, 80 samples, by grouping as per their age groups: 0 to 4 years, 5 to 10 years, 11 to 15 years, and 16 plus years. And we can see here FRNT titers and FRNT positivity is very high in all those age groups, whereas IgM positivity is less and IgG is nearly near or equal, nearly little bit high IgG. So basically seropositivity observed in all those age groups, and it has been observed that FRNT positivity is very high compared to IgM and IgG antibodies. So the diagnostic utility of neutralization test by using FRNT was carried out. Ultimately, antigen characterization was done, and samples were tested. These 80 samples were tested. All those 80 samples were having suspected mumps. They are having a history of fever with parotoid swelling, that is unilateral or bilateral parotoid swelling. Mumps seropositivity was higher in FRNT, that is 92.5% sample shows FRNT positive, 85% sample shows IgG ELISA positivity, 77.5% sample shows IgM ELISA positivity. Altogether, 58.7% samples, 47 samples shows positivity in all three serological assays, and they show presence of IgM antibodies, IgG antibodies, and neutralizing antibodies. Application of FRNT was documented on the serum samples collected from the suspected mumps patients. For the first time, we did this study in India. In summary, mumps is the public health problem in India but does not garner attention due to the absence of surveillance system. Thus, inclusion of mumps antigen in the universal immunization program would have added advantages. Despite some economic burden, for the first time, full genome sequencing of mumps virus circulating in India performed, and we compare those full genomes with the global sequences and vaccine strains. Indian mumps isolates were found to be genetically stable with few substitutions, and changes were not observed in important epitopes regions in HN and F epitopes. Immunocalorimetric assay for mumps virus detection was standardized, applied for the development of FRNT for characterization of antigenic response. For the first time, antigenic characterization of mumps genotype C and G viruses was carried out and compared with the LZ vaccine strain. Application of FRNT was documented for the laboratory diagnosis of mumps. So these are publications on mumps, nearly 11 publications published in different journals: in Microbiology, Immunology, Journal of Medical Virology, Genome Announcement, Indian Pediatrics, Infection Genetics Evolution, Indian Journal of Medical Research, then Immunology, then Journal of Virological Methods. And what I presented here, we can find all the information in those publications, all 11 publications. So thank you very much. Again, thank you to organizing committee, Botany for You, and thank you very much.